people. And so
Oh, I've been poor.
yeah.
I am proud of
Yeah.
it. Yes, I was a single mom at one point, and yes, I understand. So this was a great idea to do 5 or under, because I mean, I love the past taste of Bloomington, but it was also like I kind of spent my money all at 1 or 2 vendors, and then I was like, oh man, what about the rest of them? I was broke, but now
Yeah.
we can afford it.
I've been paycheck to paycheck for a long time, so I get it. Yeah, I mean, just in the spirit of the event, we wanted to make it accessible to the entire community, and it's what we do at Food Truck Friday. You can come and enjoy it and not spend a dime if you want, and just enjoy the music, enjoy the atmosphere, and we wanted to bring that to taste. And again, the spirit of it is to try as many things as possible, to get a taste of Bloomington. And I didn't think there was any better way to do that than capping the food at $5. The beer might be a little bit more, but
Yeah. But 5 or under, so there'll be things that cost less than $5.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't just pay what you want.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
Just checking.
No. So if you want to join us on the program, you can give us a call. Or I'm going to not do the phone numbers today. It's a little more complicated. But send us a note, news@indianapublicmedia.org, with your questions, and we can get them on the air. So I do want to ask about just the details. What time? It's on Kirkwood. We know that. What part of Kirkwood? The whole thing from
Oh, yeah.
Sample Gates all the way down?
I could talk about this in my sleep at this point. Yeah, this is the easy part. Yeah. So we're on Kirkwood from Walnut to Indiana. It's 3 to 10 o'clock. Music starts right at 3 on the WFHB Orbit Room stage and on the Master Rental stage. 50 food vendors, which is a new record. I confirmed with Talisha. And you've got food trucks, you have brick and mortar restaurants, you have catering companies. Really covers the whole gamut. You have some of these Kirkwood restaurants that'll have a tent in the street to kind of showcase what they offer as well. We have amazing merch available from Bad Knees Teas, and then, of course, the alcohol. We have incredible breweries, wineries, distilleries here in Bloomington, and we get to showcase them as well. So we have Upland Brewing, Bloomington Brewing Company, The Tap, Heartwork Brewing, Cardinal Spirits, Butler Winery, Oliver Winery, and Friendly Beast Cidery. I've said that list 1 or 2 times.
Right. Okay. And Amber, we've only got you for a few more minutes. I know it goes
you
fast.
can have me longer.
Yeah, right.
I don't mind.
But I want to ask about just the logistics of doing this. Now, you have a food truck, which is different from Galen, who's going to be coming on here in a minute, who has a brick and mortar restaurant. But how do you go about getting everything ready? And because you're going to have big crowds.
Yes, very big crowd. So actually, we're actually saving up for a food truck. So I'll be operating out of a tent.
I got you.
But I think
Okay.
I'm placed with the other food truck vendors. We've just a lot of planning went into this. I've actually been planning since the beginning of July, and because I knew this was just going to be a lot. But yeah, no, you should see my little tablet. It's got little sheets of everything of what I need and what I should be preparing for and all this other stuff. But it's coming together beautifully, and I'm actually on schedule.
Ooh, look at you.
I know.
I love it.
Usually I'm always late.
Brush it up.
So it opens at 3. So what time will you get down here?
My goal is to be there between 12 and 1
Between 12 and
to
1.
set up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for all 3 of you, and we can maybe squeeze it in. Amber, I'll let you go first, and maybe Galen can come in and answer it too. But just a general question. I've been in Bloomington for 20 years as of last month. Amazing. And I have my own opinion about this. But you're being on the inside. How would you describe the evolution of Bloomington's food scene? And I'll include in that the fact that part of that is also drinks that go along with it. Amber, you go first if you don't mind, and then
The evolution.
how have you seen things change?
Oh, okay.
Kind of what's happening now that wasn't happening 10, 20 years ago.
I've
Hawaiian
noticed-
barbecue. Right?
Oh,
Hawaiian
yeah, that's
barbecue.
Hawaiian barbecue.
Absolutely.
There's no other Hawaiian barbecue. And then I've noticed there's more Mexican type restaurants and more Thai places opening up. I've been here since 2000 or something like that, and it's just Bloomington has just grown. It's crazy, and the amount. All these different cultures are just coming together, and I think that's what makes Bloomington so unique. Because when you travel outside of it, if you're not in Indy or whatever, it's kind of, I don't know. Bloomington's just a good place, a good community of all these different culture restaurants, and everybody gets to share it, and everybody loves it. But yeah, it's grown. a lot.
Yeah. Jordan, How would you describe that?
Yeah, of course. So I moved to Bloomington in 2009. So I've had 16 years. So I'm a little bit behind you, but I don't think I can catch up unless you move away, which I don't want. But there's all these gems that we've lost over the years. And when people come on the podcast, they talk about No Coast Reserve and Darn Good Soup and places that are way older than those that we miss dearly. And it's tough. Restaurant talent, for example. But for everyone we lose, we pick up a new one. And COVID was extremely difficult for so many restaurants, and we've lost a lot due to that. But you have amazing new places open up, like Gable's Bagels and Bloomington, and so it's just, I don't think, it just changes, and that's okay. And a lot of times I feel like the community in Bloomington sometimes can just focus on the negative, and there's always negative to look at, where, we don't have this, we don't have that. I always try to focus on just how much there is here and all these amazing new places that are opening, and just doing cool stuff. Stuff like Taste of Bloomington, I think, helps instill that sense of pride in Bloomington as a community, which, again, when I moved here in 2009, I did not expect here to be here 16 years. But I've now lived here longer than where I grew up, which kind of blew my mind when I thought about it. And I just have an enormous amount of pride about Bloomington, and I want to showcase that and just encourage everyone to be grateful for what we do have, and those that are working their tails off to put out this amazing product that's such an eclectic mix of culinary expertise. And just be happy, because it's a great community that we live in.
Mike?
I talk about the culinary industry all the time. It's art. It's part of the art scene in Bloomington, and it is great. Food Truck Friday, he's being humble. He helped create Food Truck Friday, and it's exploded. That's one thing that's different. There's over 20 food trucks operating daily in the Bloomington area. Obviously, 4th Street and the International Row there is unique to in the Midwest here to Bloomington. It's incredible that it's there, and I do credit a lot of that to the culture that's created from Indiana University that we've talked about, being a college town, and the creativity that comes out of there and sparks so much other stuff. But there are 300, I looked on, so visitbloomington.com is our website at Visit Bloomington. I looked at it yesterday, made some notes. There are 380 restaurants in Monroe County listed on visitbloomington.com. 145 in the downtown area. Of the 380, 10 are breweries, wineries, and distilleries. Like I said, there are over 20 daily food trucks, 85 international restaurants, 23 pizza restaurants, 35 coffee and sweet places, and 38 bars and pubs. It's a $470 million industry in Monroe County, $150 million spent by visitors on it. 33% of all visitor expenditures are spent on food, as I was talking about earlier. Creates 2,800 jobs in Monroe County, the culinary industry does. Huge impact on our community. It's a big deal. So we call it gastronomy tourism. It's a big thing in the world. You were talking about Europe earlier. Global culinary tourism generated $11.5 billion in 2023, and 30% of that was generated in revenue, or in Europe. 30% of that revenue in Europe. So that's kind of sort of the king spot of gastronomy tourism. But we do a good job here in Indiana and Bloomington.
Bring a lot of the world here.
Yeah, I can always count on Mike to bring the statistics,
Yeah.
We're talking about food today.
Great numbers,
I'm getting really hungry, and he brings out the numbers.
It's really
it's
important,
amazing.
I think, to understand that. I think people often think this also of, the arts sometimes, that these are just kind of add-ons, or we take them for granted, and we don't understand the economics behind them.
Take them for granted, and it's a really hard industry to succeed in. 380, I said on our website, it's probably changed since then, because we know only about what's the percentage that make it. So kudos to those hardworking people that make it happen.
It's a very hard job. We're going to get Galen Cassidy to come in here in a second, but if you can make your way over here, Galen, and I'm going to ask Amber right before she goes. I mean, this is a hard industry. I mean, what kind of hours do you work trying to keep yourself?
24/7. Literally. Because I actually went back to IU, so I have like a hybrid job, but that allows me to do this business as well. So, but yeah, it's a lot of work. It's every day I'm working.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Amber Racoma, thanks for being here with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
Amber's from Mama Duke's Hawaiian Barbecue.
Yeah.
She'll be one of the food trucks that will be at Taste of Bloomington tomorrow. So, Galen, come on in. We'll get you hooked up. But while we're doing that, Mike, we've been around a long time. So What are you looking for the most tomorrow? I mean, because you've been at a lot of Taste of Bloomington events.
What's on my mind right now,
Yeah.
Besides this, is I'm thinking about that Bloomington Convention Center expansion, and so I'm leaving here today to go make a sales and marketing video for the new expansion. But one of the things we're going to capture tomorrow is we're going to take a drone and fly it from the expansion site that they're digging on right now up to Kirkwood and take a right and head east through the sample gates, because people, business travel, we're trying to make that convention center, same thing, trying to grow that business and positive impact on our community with that group business. But the number one thing they do is eat. But it's this downtown and these events downtown, and that's what's special about Bloomington, as well as that university and all that happens. So I'm thinking about that and how it all ties together and how it all works for the tourism economy that I was talking about. And so I want to hopefully see, we probably won't get back to 10,000. I want it to be safe and good and a good crowd. I don't want it to be overcrowded so people can't enjoy it and everybody runs out of food. So I want it to be a nice, perfect size crowd is what Jordan's after. And I want to see us continue to grow it and it be a successful. I look at it as a marketing. As Amber talked about, I don't think it's a huge profit center for them, Taste of Bloomington. They need to really think of it as a promotional tool to get these customers back in the door at times when they're not as crowded or it's not as busy. And let's create new business and new revenue for the community. It's always where my head is.
All right. Well, I want to welcome Galen Cassidy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Galen, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Galen is general manager of the Uptown Cafe, and so you have a brick and mortar business. What are you going to be having at Taste of Bloomington?
Well, yeah, Jordan talked me into participating this year. I have to be honest, my father and I hadn't really participated in the previous ones. Primarily, it was just it's kind of a lot to ask on a busy weekend to pull a lot of staff, and then it was traveling and doing all that. So the fact that it's on Kirkwood, I think is, first of all, just a great scene for everyone, but it's much easier for us. So we're going to be offering 3 items, really primarily centered around our Cajun Creole influence. So we're featuring a muffaletta sandwich, a quarter of that, and then we have a shrimp cocktail and our creme brulee, but we're doing it all in small tasting portions. They're all $3.
$3,
including
awesome.
tax. So
I think Lori's face when he said that. Said everything.
like
Ooh.
yeah. And we'll be at the
Saving
very
my money.
we'll be at the very end of the event and the festival. So don't miss us.
So
We'll be over
leave
by the
some
bus
room.
kirk. Yeah.
Okay. What will that mean for your regular customers on a Saturday? Will
You
it
mean in the restaurant?
Yeah. Will it change the dynamic of the restaurant?
A little bit. This is new for all of us.
yeah.
So this kind of festival happening on Kirkwood, we'll see what it brings. Typically, we do see a little less business because people are out enjoying the weather and getting to sample a bunch of different things, not just 1 or 2 vendors. So we're planning on being a little quieter on Saturday, but primarily focusing on the booth outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious just in general about festivals in Bloomington. Have those generally, do you think, been a big boost, not specifically Taste of Bloomington, but other festivals? Do you see a big uptick in business sort of going to the tourism?
We do.
point?
I would say it's a little bit more indirect. There can be sometimes when, again, people are out, at Lotus Festival, for example. They're out and outside. They may pop in for a quick drink, but it's not maybe the same as a basketball game that comes in and people are having a big dinner right before they go to the game. But I think there's a lot of indirect benefit. It brings a lot of energy to the downtown and makes people realize that we have this beautiful scene here that everyone can enjoy that they sometimes forget. Maybe they think there's a lack of parking downtown or it's just not accessible to everyone. But once they attend these festivals, they're more likely to come back on other weekends too. So I think it's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
We're at Poindexter's in the Graduate Hotel having our discussion on the Taste of Bloomington, which will be right outside tomorrow. We have Galen Cassidy is with us now. We also have Mike McAfee from Visit Bloomington and Jordan Davis, the organizer of Taste of Bloomington. He also runs Food Truck Fridays. He's a host of No Dishes podcast, and he works for the Chocolate Mousse. So we have quite a group of people. If you want to send us your questions. You can send them to news@indianapublicmedia.org. And those of you in the live audience can send a card up to our producer, Benta, and she'll run it up to me. So I wanted to ask Jordan again about just some of the logistics of the event. I mean, parking is always an issue downtown, or at least, maybe it's not. Galen mentioned that people worry about it. So it's a perceived issue downtown. Are there specific places you would recommend that people park, better time to come? Can you talk about the music? I mean, I know you can talk about all these things. So
100%. Yeah, the city's been amazing. Let me lead out with that. They have had our back the whole way to really make this thing happen. So really grateful to Cassie and Adam over at Public Works. They've really been cheerleading this thing, and we're really grateful for that. And then Bloomington Transit. They are running their B-Link shuttle. They normally don't run it on Saturdays. They're running it during the duration of the event. And they've got drop-off points. They'll pick you up at the Trades District Garage, 4th Street, the one on North Walnut over there above Yogi's. Those garages are only 50 cents per hour. And there's 3,300 surface parking spaces. So there's lots of options. You might have to walk a little bit. I think, all the standard handicap spots will be available. But the earlier, the better, for sure. And when I've got a committee of 20 people that I assembled that they're rock stars that have made this thing happen. And we broke it down into subcommittees. So we have infrastructure, alcohol, entertainment, restaurants. I'm missing a million. Marketing and branding. So just to give you an idea of all the different aspects of this event, it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for this committee that's been put together, and they've just rocked it out. As far as the entertainment goes, we have the 2 stages of live music. We have the master rental stage, which will be right over by the sample gates, which I'm so excited for. I don't think I've seen a stage over there before, but it's this natural high point. So you could be down and it's already raised up. It's already up there. So it's not the biggest stage in the world. It's not like in the past, but it's kind of already elevated. And you have the sample gates right behind it, which I think is so cool. So we're going to have Audrey Rose opening. She's a 16-year-old singer-songwriter. And then Willie Locke. He used to be part of an a cappella group called Gentleman's Rule, kind of in the same vein as Straight No Chaser. And he went to IU. He worked at the old Chocolate Mousse stand. And he's coming back from New York City, and his band's coming up from Nashville, Tennessee. So it's a homecoming for him. Then we have the All Access Band out of Ellettsville. They're fantastic. They cover everything from Miley Cyrus to Rage Against the Machine. And then we have Clayton Anderson. Everyone knows Clayton. It's kind of a homecoming for him. He's played more shows in Bloomington than anywhere else. And then we're ending with Disco. They're this jam electronic band that they've been blowing up recently. They're all Bloomington boys. They're awesome. And they've got this cool light show. So we put them last so it'll be a little darker, see the lights. And then over on the WFHB Orbit Room stage, we have Slug Rug, Glitter Brains, the New Old Cavalry. These are some of my buddies I grew up with. They're this bluegrass band. They used to play all the time at the old Max's place. But if you want a good banjo picking good time, come on down for the New Old Cavalry. It's like a reunion show for them. They only do about 1 show a year anymore. Peyton Womack, this incredibly talented saxophone player. He did the Pacers national anthem. He's done a ton of stuff around town. So he'll be out there. And then Wind, followed by lastly Busman's Holiday, which most people are familiar with, the brothers. So just a lot of great music, a little bit of something from everybody, and both stages running from 3 to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
all right. A couple of questions have come in from our audience here, from John. What kinds of events are there for children?
Yeah, this is a great question. So we have a kids zone at People's Park. The Bloomington Parks and Recreation has been fantastic. That's going to run from 3 to 8 o'clock. And we have local organizations like Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Club, Morgenstern Books, I think maybe the library, YMCA, Dave & Buster's. They're all just coming to set up and do activities for kids. So no inflatables, no bounce houses, nothing too crazy. But we will have that zone so you can keep an eye on your kids and see the music at the same time.
Okay, another question. Do you expect this to be an annual event, or is this a wait and see? This is sort of a trial.
Hopefully annual, yeah. I already have circled August 1st, 2026. So this is the last Saturday before MCCSC goes back to school. Right. And so we want to treat this like the last hurrah of the local summer. Give us a couple weeks, catch our breath, and then the students are back. So hopefully, again, we'll see what the sales are, what the numbers work out to. If I end up making a new 501c3 to organize the event, if it continues to be a Chocolate Mousse event. So what that structure is still remains to be seen. But I certainly would like to do this every year as the last hurrah before all the kids go back to school.
We're all committed to it for multi-years and bringing it back. It's an impact. When Galen was talking about how sometimes people don't come down at different times, I think this event has proven itself to really be the difference where everybody comes to this one. No matter what's going on, everybody wants to come to this event. But we're committed to seeing it grow. When orientation ends, these weekends right before school, before move-in, are a little bit lighter. So it's a great time to do it, and that's one of the reasons it's happening this weekend.
Okay, I have a couple more questions, and then Laura, get your next one ready. So the next question from John is, how has this affected, and I guess Galen too, how has this affected not having it? How did that affect the Bloomington restaurant scene and the tourism scene, I guess?
It's so hard to say a lot because again, it was so successful right into tourism, right into COVID, and then after COVID, the culinary scene has grown, as we talked about, with new offerings and new things, and it's just been one of the first things that come back. Outdoor dining has sparked a lot of that, and things like that. There's a lot more, as we know, DoorDash and all the delivery stuff. So the culinary scene has grown, back to, right at pre-pandemic levels. But just in years past, you could just tell again that with the restaurants participating, it's just been great in them for promotion and that type of stuff.
Galen, you did it. The Uptown did a great, I thought, very cool thing with the little private bubble places to sit outside during the pandemic. I mean, so there were some, I think, ways to keep people's interest going. Which
I think that the pandemic it did force all of us to be nimble. We had to adapt our carryout menu in that process. We introduced those outdoor dining bubbles, which were a little hard to manage, but we're glad we're past that. And but going on and adding to what Mike said, I think that not having the taste, you lose track of like all the restaurants that are in Bloomington, and there's little pockets that offer a bunch of different things. And an event like this, especially how it's organized now, with little taste of things, I think it's going to broaden people's perspectives on the dining scene here, the culinary scene, which is, good for everyone to have an open mind there. So,
the last audience question I have at this particular time, and I'm going to try to decipher it. I think it says, "What is this year's best kept secret?" So maybe about the taste. Is there a best kept secret? You guys. I don't think there are any secrets about the taste this year, are there?
No, I think our marketing and branding subcommittee did their job, and just the fact that it's free to attend, you don't need a ticket, it's $5 or less. I will say, I responded to a Facebook comment last night, or it might have been on Reddit, but either way, it was, what's the one thing you have to try? And obviously there's a lot of very well-known places like Uptown and Farm and Nick's, and some of the smaller ones, Mama Duke's with Amber that was just here, Segovia, they do paella. So you're getting paella for $5, and they do a really, really good job. Considerate burrito. There's all these small ones, but just like Galen said, have an open mind. Go around, look at the menus, get here early, and I think that's part of the fun. Is scouting it out, getting together a game plan, and just nibbling throughout the day.
And there's also, for people who are vegetarian and vegan, there's a business, I think a food truck that does all vegan. I don't know if they're participating this year, but I assume other food trucks will have that.
So there will be vegan and vegetarian options, certainly. Planted is the truck that you're referring to.
That's right.
Unfortunately, they did reach out to me last week and said, hey, if anything opens up, we'd love to be there. They just had some stuff going on at the time when I initially sent out about booking. So it's unfortunate. A handful of folks have reached out, kind of saw the buzz, wanted to get in, and there's a lot of planning that goes into this event, and so it wasn't possible to get anyone in late. But I will say, if you want Planted, they're at Food Truck Friday tonight from 5 to 9.
All right. So we have about 15 minutes to go in the program. If you want to get your question in, news@indianapublicmedia.org. We're talking about the Taste of Bloomington, which will be tomorrow from 3 to 10 on Kirkwood Avenue. We have 3 guests with us: Jordan Davis, who's the organizer of the event; Mike McAfee, executive director of Visit Bloomington; and Galen Cassidy, the general manager of the Uptown Cafe. We are at the Graduate Hotel in Poindexter's, and we want to thank them for hosting us here today. So the safety issues. Putting on an event like this, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes kinds of things that go with it, and preparing for the weather, which looks pretty good for tomorrow, by the way.
Feeling very fortunate.
Yeah. So how do you coordinate all of those things? Are those part of the committee structure that you have?
Oh, absolutely. That's where Cassie Warney from Public Works came in, and she's really been our liaison to public safety and working with fire, working with police. Right before I came here, I met with Homeland Security, and we did a walkthrough, and that was nerve-wracking, but we're good. We're doing okay. But they're fantastic, and yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it. Where these water barricades are placed, and where the bollards are placed. There's just so many logistics. We have to leave a certain amount of space in the middle of the street for an emergency vehicle to get through if necessary. And, if something much worse were to happen, I know the police, anytime there's a special event, they have things that are in place that we're unaware of that we're very grateful for to make sure that everyone has a safe event and really gets to enjoy it.
Okay, one more quick question for Lori. Alcohol rules for this. Can people walk up and down Kirkwood with an open container?
I'm glad you asked. So I don't know if it's a loophole or what, but when I was at Grand Falloon last year, I noticed that Upland was serving, and it wasn't fenced in. And I was like, something's up here. It's fenced in. It has to be a beer garden. So I asked Gerard with the IU and Arts and Humanities Council, and he said there's this thing called a festival permit, and he gave me the contact for the gentleman at the ATC who's been fantastic. And essentially, if it's an Indiana brewery, winery, or distillery selling something that they produce, they can apply. They have a certain number of festival permits they can use in a given year. And so all of our alcohol vendors are using one of their festival permits for Taste of Bloomington. And so you are able to be within the event perimeter, which is all of Kirkwood and Grant, north and south to the alleys, with your open container as long as it's purchased from one of those vendors at Taste. You can't take that alcohol into a restaurant or bar. You can't take alcohol from a restaurant or bar outside. But it's one of the things I'm very excited about, and I'm very grateful the city's letting us do it. I think IU not being in session yet had a big part to do with that. But yes, we are excited that you'll be able to walk to the Kirkwood, Walnut, Indiana with a beer in hand while you're scouting out all those menus.
Yeah. So we don't see, past years for Taste, and I assume this year too, no chain restaurants. Do you filter them out, or they just don't ask, or it just isn't kind of not their thing?
Yeah, you know what? Texas Roadhouse, I think, participated in Old Taste, and Kroger even. We were set up next to them with the chocolate mousse. And our focus is to highlight what you can get in Bloomington and you can only get in Bloomington. I think there might actually be one or two in there, like Everbowl, for example, is a franchise. So there's a couple that snuck in there, but we know these local franchise owners, and they're great people that care about the community. Sure. But the main focus is absolutely focusing on these independent restaurants that make Bloomington so unique.
So, we'd have to ask the thousands of people that come, what they think about it. But Galen, I'm going to ask you specifically, what's going to measure whether this is successful for you?
Well, I think that it's going to come down to the months after the festival, honestly, in terms of like what kind of traffic we're seeing in new guests. A lot of these new age point of sale systems can track that kind of thing. So I think, again, the fact that everyone can sample things and experience things that might just be out of their routine is going to show itself in the months coming after this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you this, and it's not about the taste per se, but you've got a new restaurant coming up, right? A new concept coming up. What can you share about that?
Not a whole lot, unfortunately. I can tell you, it's right across from the Uptown. There's a parking lot that's been a parking lot for decades, right next to the CVS. So right on Kirkwood, Randy Lloyd and a partnership group are going to be developing a 5-story condominium building. We will be on the ground floor of that. We'll also be on the second floor with a more lounge type bar scene. We're really excited about it, but we are still fine tuning that concept and aren't quite ready to announce it yet. But we're just happy to be a part of this community and add to the vibrancy in the culinary scene with another concept in addition to Uptown.
Yeah, and the Uptown has been here for how long? When did your dad start?
Next year will be 50 years. So
50
he started
years,
in 76 right next to the Bluebird. It was
I remember.
Rockets
I
Pizza
ate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take wine in yourself.
Oh, nice.
At the beginning, yeah. I'm not sure if I should have said that.
No, that's okay. I mean, I don't think ATC is going to come after us all these years later.
That's right.
Yeah, people, I mean, he served breakfast late into the night. There'd be a line out the door. I mean, I wasn't around to see that, unfortunately. We moved to the current space in 1984. I was born in '88, and we've since, added a cocktail bar on the ground level of the current Uptown space. But it's been I can't speak highly enough of my father and everything he's built, and the ability to sustain yourself in this industry beyond being successful in sustaining the business, just sustaining yourself as a person that puts yourself through those hours that the restaurant industry asks for 50 years.
And you think about that, people that enjoy history here, think about the Uptown Cafe as it is now. Think about it in rocket space all those years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the home fries were around then. They're here today, and several items have lasted that 50 years too. Yeah.
Well, it stayed wonderful the whole 20 years I've been here and eating at the restaurant, and it's nice sometimes as well. I was there yesterday for breakfast, and your father walked through and got a chance to say hi to him. It's all.
He's not retired. People
No,
ask me, is he retired yet?
What are you doing?
It's funny. Some people think he's retired, and other people will be talking to a table, and they're like, "Hey, tell Michael to make my home fries crispier." I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's not back on the line cooking anymore, but he's not retired too.
Yeah, well, it's great to see it. I think to your point, Mike, earlier, and Jordan, you've all been speaking to just the vibrancy of the local scene, and I think these long-term establishments, like the quality, the way Uptown really does embrace a community where it feels like this kind of community gathering space as well. And there are other places in Bloomington that are like that. That feels characteristic of Bloomington to me.
Institutions like Nick's and Trojan
Yeah.
Horse and Runcible Spoon.
Village
and
Pa-
I don't
yeah.
want to leave anybody
Village
out.
Deli.
I love them all.
Yeah.
Yes, you're saying them. So
Well,
Yep.
when I started at the Chocolate Mousse 11 years ago,
Chocolate Mousse.
we've been on that plot of land for 90 years. And my
Yes.
biggest thing I've said when I came on board was just don't screw it up. I had this couple come by the old stand at the window, and they're like, "We're celebrating our 50th anniversary." And I'm like, "That's incredible." They go, "Our first date was here." And I'm like, wow, okay. So it showed me very quickly how much the Chocolate Mousse, the Penguin, Maze Cafe meant to the community. And just, again, don't screw it up has been my mantra.
Well, they're important. I mean, I think even when Chocolate Mousse went from being the little, I don't know what to
The
call
stand
it.
is what we call it. Yeah.
The stand to like being this storefront. Like, oh my goodness, ice cream's still great.
We tried. Thank you.
Mike, how do you go about evaluating an event like this? When it's all over, the 7 hours of actual public time and all the behind-the-scenes time, how will you evaluate it and decide how to move forward?
Well, certainly revenue will be a big thing that you have to look at that. I'll be able to look at revenue generated around the weekend through food and beverage tax revenue, as well as hotel overnights and things like that. I get that daily and things like that. And Jordan and I have been talking about that. We have heard from some hoteliers that have people have made reservations because they're coming for taste, which is incredible, and that's great. And certainly I think a big part of that is hearing Galen say what happened with them, and we'll know pretty quickly if Jordan starts getting calls, hey, when are we doing this next year? When are we doing this next year? But for me, it's long-term growth, and it's all these positive numbers that I'm talking about and how it all works together. So Galen's getting ready. He's got a new project, a new restaurant in the pipeline. That means things are healthy. They're very smart people. They they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't think there was an opportunity for growth in the future. But there are going to be coming closings and things like that. But I think as long as we keep growing this industry responsibly and like growing the tourism industry, and we're trying to do that with more business Sunday through Thursday and things like that. So the long-term growth of this event, I think, goes right in line with the long-term growth of the culinary industry, the hospitality industry, which includes tourism in our community, and it's just a big part of this great college town that we live in, one of the best in America. So 50,000 screaming college kids about to come to town, and we got 50,000 residents. So we are so different from Columbus, Ohio, and Ann Arbor, and Madison that have hundreds of thousands of people there. And so that balance and trying to make all that work and service all that is what it's all
Galen,
about.
I want to ask you about students. How do you get them into the Uptown? Is it a word of mouth kind of thing?
To Uptown, it's via their parents, but
Right.
the review pages and things like that. Obviously, seeing the amount of reviews we have, the years we've been here, I think that gets us a little credibility. And otherwise, we do rely heavily on word of mouth ourselves, and just people having a good first experience, a good first impression with this huge incoming IU class. It's all about that, and our team on every pre-shift meeting we have with the servers and the cooks, we're talking about that. We're talking about first impressions, because that's what turns people into regulars, and obviously the food and the beverages have to be good, but you got to make a good first impression package for them, and they'll keep coming back. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Jordan, we've only got about 3 minutes to go. I want to make sure that we touch all the bases when it comes to Taste of Bloomington, which is the timing for this show. We could do a restaurant show. You do a restaurant show every week, so I mean, people like to talk about restaurants and food.
They just won a big award. He just won a big podcast award for his show on the Red Bison food truck.
Yeah.
So,
Congratulations.
Thank
for
you.
that.
Awesome
Yeah,
show.
Congratulations
we got
indeed.
the Popcorn Award for the best restaurant and beverage podcast for our episode with Red Fraser Bison Ranch and the Twin Springs Creamery, the only creamery in Monroe County. And we were also promoting the 4-H auction they did at the county fair.
Okay. So,
Wow.
Taste of Bloomington, last 2 minutes. I think I've asked you what are you looking forward to the most, but maybe rest after it's over. But
Yeah, certainly. Again, it's been a long time coming. I can't even tell you how many meetings. All those subcommittees, I was in every one of those meetings, just meetings with sponsors, with Master Rental, with the city. It's nuts, the amount of work that goes into just this one-day event. It has about $80,000 in expenses to put on this one thing. And so, again, just very grateful for the sponsors that have helped make this happen and accessible to the whole community, but through being free. But with how fortunate we've gotten with this weather, if it holds, we're really like, okay, this is going to pop. And just the energy in the community I've seen the last couple of weeks, everywhere I go, everyone's just excited to have it back. And so I literally upped the amount of porta pots today. I just said, we're doing
Very
everything we can. But please, for everyone to keep in mind, it is our first year. We've done everything we can. We've got a really experienced committee. But we'd be foolish to say it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But we're doing everything we can to highlight these amazing restaurants, the amazing people behind them. And we just want everyone to come down, enjoy it, have a good time. And then if you have any feedback afterwards, please let us know, because we just want to grow and do better for our community.
all right,
great.
we are running out of time here, so I want to thank everybody. Taste of Bloomington is tomorrow, 3 until 10, on Kirkwood Avenue. It's free. All the food items are $5 or less. All the Uptown items are $3. So we have to give Galen a plug because he's here. So I want to thank our guests, Jordan Davis, Mike McAfee, Galen Cassidy, and Amber Racoma, for all the people that have helped us put on this program today. Betta Boutier and Brock is here as our engineer, and also the folks at Poindexter's here at the Graduate Hotel. We want to thank all of them. For Lori McRobbie, I'm Bob Zaltzberg. Thanks for listening to Noon Edition.